everyone, my name is Tiffany Ardia Prameswari and my student number is 44250207. Today, I want to talk about a topic that still sparks debate among the student and staff. Smoking in campus areas. Some people see it as a personal choice, but I believe that smoking should not be allowed on campus. And here's why. First, let's talk about health. We all know smoking is dangerous, not only for smokers but also for those who breathe in secondhand smoke. According to the World Health Organization, tobacco kills more than 8 million people each year, including 1.3 million non-smokers who are exposed to it. When someone smokes on campus, the smoke spreads in hallways, near classrooms, and even in open space where other students gather. This means non-smokers are forced to inhale something they never agreed to. A campus should be a place that promotes health, not harms it. Second, there is the issue of environment and cleanliness. Cigarette butts are one of the most common forms of litter in the world. They don't just disappear, they end up in the soil and water, releasing toxic chemicals. Walk around some campus and you'll see cigarette butts scattered near benches, parking lots, or garden areas. It looks unpleasant, it smells bad, and it completely ruins the image of an academic environment that's supposed to represent knowledge, discipline, and respect. Third, let's think about role modeling and responsibility. A campus that is not just a place to study. It's a place to grow, to shape character, and to become future leaders. If younger students see older ones, or even lecturers, smoking freely around campus, what message does that send? That smoking is normal? That is acceptable behavior in an educational setting? As educated individuals, we have the responsibility to set a positive example. If we want to build a healthier generation, it must start with us, right here, right now. However, I also understand that smokers have rights, and completely banning smoking without offering alternative is unfair. That's why, instead of ignoring the issues, universities should create designated smoking areas away from main buildings and student activity zones. This allows smokers to have their space, while protecting non-smokers from exposure. At the same time, the campus can run awareness programs about the danger of smoking and offer counseling or cessation support for those who want to quit. The goal isn't to punish, but to help. Lastly, let's remember the real meaning of education. It's not only about books and grades. It's about learning how to live responsibly. A smoke-free campus isn't just a rule. It's a commitment to protect health, promote respect, and preserve the learning environment for everyone. So, I stand firmly with this opinion. Smoking should not be allowed in campus areas. Not because we want to control others, but because we care about our health, our friends, and our future. Let's create campus that inspire fresh ideas, not clouds of smoke. Because the only thing that should burn on campus is our passion to learn. Thank you.
Hello guys, welcome to the part 2 of the video. And now I want to explain simple present tense. First is definition. The simple present tense is a foundational aspect of English grammar that plays a critical role in everyday communication. It is primarily used to describe verbal actions, general truths, repeated events, fixed arrangements, and instructions. This extensive guide will cover its structure, various uses, spelling rules, common mistakes, and a wealth of examples and practice exercises to ensure a comprehensive understanding. Next is the structure. A solid grasp of the structure of the simple present tense is essential for constructing grammatically correct sentences. The first structure is affirmative sentences. The structure is subject plus base form of the verb with s or es for the third person singular. Example: I play soccer. You read books. He plays soccer. Not the addition of s. They eat breakfast at 7 a.m. She studies mathematics. The second structure is negative sentences. The structure is subject plus do or does not plus base form of the verb. Example, I do not play soccer, she does not read books, they don't eat breakfast at 7 a.m., he doesn't like spicy food, and we don't travel abroad every year. The third structure is interrogative sentence. The structure is do or does. The subject is base form of the verb. The example is, do you play soccer? Does he read books? Do they eat breakfast at 7 a.m.? Does she like chocolate? Do you need to hurry? Next is uses of the simple present tense. The simple present tense serves multiple purposes, making it a versatile tool in English communication. The first use is habitual action. The simple present is primarily used to describe habits or routines, action that occur regularly or repeatedly. An example is, I go to the gym every day. She takes a walk every morning, and we watch movies on weekends. The second use is general truths and facts. This tense is used for statements that are universally true or generally accepted facts. The example is, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Third use is scheduled events. The simple present can describe future events that are scheduled, especially with timetables or itineraries. Example, the train departs at 6 p.m. The fourth use is instructions or directions. It is commonly used in giving instructions or directions. Example is first, you turn left. The fifth use is narrative style. In storytelling, the simple present tense creates a sense of immediacy and engagement. Example is, he walks into the room and sees a surprise party. The sixth use is scientific and technical writing. In scientific context, the simple present tense is often used to present research findings and establish theories. The example is, the process requires speed. And the seventh use is reviews and summaries. When summarizing books, movies, or other works, the simple present is often used to discuss plot points or events. Example, in the novel, the protagonist struggles with identity. And next is spelling rules for third-person singular. When forming the third-person singular, that is he, she, it, certain spelling rules apply to maintain grammatical accuracy. First is add s. For most verbs, simply add s to the base form. Example is play, you replace work, become work. Second is add es for specific endings. For verbs ending in esh, cxs, or z, add es. Example is wish become wishes, watch become watches, and fix become fix. Third is change y to is. For verbs ending in a consonant followed by y, change y to the is. Example, carry become carries, and study become students. The fourth is no change for certain verbs. If a verb ends in a vowel followed by y, just add s. Example is play become plays, and buy become buys. So there's a common mistakes. While using the simple present tense, learners often encounter several common mistakes. Awareness of this can help improve grammatical accuracy. First mistake is subject-verb agreement. Ensure the verb agrees with the subject in number and person. Example is, the incorrect way is he go to the gym every day, and the correct way is he goes to the gym every day. Second is incorrect use of do or does. Remember to use do with plural of subjects and does with singular subjects. Incorrect example is, they does not like pizza, and the correct way is they do not like pizza. 3. Omitting the auxiliary in questions. Ensure to include the auxiliary verb when forming questions. Example, sometimes we feel like pizza, and the correct way is do you like pizza. 4. Using the wrong verb for. Always use the base form of the verb in negative and interrogative sense. Then correct way, he does not go to school, and the correct way is he does not go to school. 5th is misusing adverbs of frequency. When using adverbs of frequency, like always, usually, sometimes, rarely, and never, place them correctly in the sentence. The correct way is, I go usually to the gym, and the correct way is, I usually go to the gym. So there is an example in context. First example is daily routines. With affirmative is, we use I wake up at 7 a.m. and the negative way, she does not like coffee. And interrogative way is, he reads before bed. Very general fact. In affirmative, we say cats are mammals. And the way, the example is, the sun does not rise in the west. And interrogative is, the earth round. Those scheduled events. Example in affirmative, the meeting starts at 7 a.m. And negative, the train does not leave until noon. In the interrogative, it does not consist within after 8 p.m. But it's giving instruction. Example in affirmative software is, to start the machine, you press the button. In negative is, do not touch the hot stove. And in interrogative, can you show me how to use this? And use scientific context. The affirmative example, the earth pumps blood. And negative example, this experiment does not suit the theory. And the interrogative way, does this process require heat? 6. Reviews and summaries. Affirmative way is, the novel explores the theme of redemption. In negative example is, the movie does not focus on romance. And interrogative is, does the article provide sufficient evidence? Thank you. Okay, enough from me. Bye bye.